Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Talking Gamecocks with Ben and Rich. I'm here with my dad, actually, and this is going to be episode 1 of basically talking about anything Gamecock news, updates, and improvements that we could think could be better for the program. And Dad, why don't you just tell them a little bit about your history of how you love the Gamecocks so much and how you kind of developed me and the rest of our family into loving them.
Well, I was born a Gamecock. My whole family's Gamecocks. 57 years old, and I've got Gamecock blood. It's in my DNA. I think if you're a Gamecock fan, most Gamecock fans will say something similar. I don't think you don't come to pulling for the Gamecocks after pulling for other teams. You're born into it, and I believe that's the case with most Gamecock fans. You're born into it. I've been going to games since I was a kid. We used to go out and sell drinks and programs at the games as a way to get in the games. Used to be able to sign up to sell programs or Cokes at the games if you got there early enough, and you would be able to get in the game that way, and that's how it started. I've been going to games since I can remember, early 70s. And just always been a Gamecock. It's part of my life. It always has been and probably always will be.
Yep, and it's always been a part of my life too. So Shane Beamer just recently got hired as the new head ball coach. So what do you think about that?
Well, Shane Beamer is he has a history with the Gamecocks. He was an assistant coach for 4 years under Spurrier.
Yep.
He was Shane had a direct hand and direct responsibility for bringing in some of the most talented players that have ever played here.
I think that's a really good positive.
Yeah, he's a really positive guy. He's a real upbeat, positive guy. He seems to be. He wants to be here. When he stated at his news conference that this is his dream job.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did that, I believe him. I believe him. He's the son of a Hall of Fame coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been at the right hand of a Hall of Fame coach. He's been an assistant coach under a Hall of Fame coach at Spurrier. His dad was Frank Beamer, who coached for many years at Virginia Tech, made Virginia Tech a national power. So he's seen what it takes to build a winning football program.
Yep.
I like him. I hope that he's going to bring big things to Carolina.
And he seems like such a young, wanting to build a culture of South Carolina football.
I think building a successful college football program comes down to relationships. As a head coach, you have to have relationships with your assistant coaches. You have to have relationships with your players. You have to have relationships with the high school coaches at the schools you recruit from. You have to have relationships with high school players. You have to have relationships with donors and fans. Being a college football coach is much more than just being a coach. And that's something that the previous coach, I don't think, ever fully grasped.
Especially down in the Southeast, too.
You have to be a people person, and you have to know how to delegate and be you're going to do some coaching, but you're really going to do more of a CEO type situation where you're putting people in the right places and nurturing them and building relationships with them. I think that's kind of what, the people up at Clemson do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he runs his program. He's not necessarily a hands-on football coach all the time. He's more of a facilitator, somebody who puts coaches in the right places and lets them do their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And he builds relationships with administrators, with athletic directors, with his players, with his coaches. Like I said, you have to have relationships with people to be a successful college football coach. It's more than just coaching. Like we talked about, he wants to be here.
He does.
He doesn't look at this job as something to move on to other things down the road. He sees this as his destination job,
which is a good thing.
He wants to be here. He wants to build us a winner. He knows what it takes to build a winner.
What did Oklahoma just won the Big 12 championship?
Yeah, right.
So he was a part of a winning team just right there. So,
well, he's always been part of winning teams.
Yep.
I like Shane Beamer. I think the future, potentially looks very bright with him at the helm. But like I said, time will tell.
I think so too. So Shane did announce that he hired Erik Kimrey as his tight ends coach. And you sent me a video that we'll put down in the description of his famous play that Erik Kimrey had at the University of South Carolina, which is pretty awesome. So I encourage you guys to go check that one out. But, and just like, you want to give like a little short span of like what exactly he did for the team, in case anybody else doesn't know.
Well, Erik Kimrey has officially been announced as an assistant coach for Shane Beamer. From what I understand, he's going to be the tight ends coach. Erik has been a very successful high school head coach at a school called Hammond Academy here in Columbia. It's a private school, and they've won 5 or 6 private school state titles in a row. He's coached.
Hammond's a big school too.
He's got several players that are currently on the South Carolina roster that he coached, and like I said, he's been a very successful high school coach, and he's well thought of throughout the state as a high school coach. In fact, his dad coached Little League Baseball, and I played Little League Baseball for his dad back in the day.
It's a small world.
Yeah, his dad is Bill Kimrey, and I played Little League Baseball for him at Trenton Park. A lot of kids did that I knew. But
so what's the famous play that he had though? You don't explain it to like exact detail, but you could just very basic, because I'm going to put the video down there and maybe they'll go watch.
Well, most Carolina fans know that Erik Kimrey's famous for a play called the fade. We were playing Mississippi State. I forget what year it was, but we were down
2000.
It's year 2000. Lou Holtz was the head coach. Our quarterback at the time was a kid named Phil Petty. Petty got hurt on third down. We had the ball at like the Mississippi State 30-yard line. I don't remember how much time was left, but time was winding down. Our starting quarterback got hurt on third down. So Erik was forced to come in on fourth down. Coach Lou Holtz grabbed Erik on the sideline before he went in to run the fourth down play, and he asked him, what play can you run? What's your best play? And Erik looked at him and said, I can throw the fade, coach. And so on fourth down, with the game on the line, first play of the game that Erik had been in, hadn't played much at all year, he comes in and throws the fade down the left sideline to a kid named Jermail Kelly, who made a heck of a catch. It really was. The Mississippi State guy had our Jermail blanketed. Jermail basically made a one-handed catch on the fade, scored a touchdown, and we won the game. It's one of the most famous plays and sequences of plays in South Carolina football history, and Erik will go down in history as the guy who said, I can throw the fade, coach.
And now he's coaching at South Carolina, which is really cool.
Yeah, going to be a coach. Well, he was always a fan. He grew up, like a lot of people, being a Gamecock. His dad was a Gamecock. And as far as I know, Erik was a Gamecock since he was born. So it's kind of good karma for us, I think, that he's coming back to be a coach.
So you did say Erik Kimrey did have a couple players already on the South Carolina roster from his Hammond school. So do you know who those players were?
Yeah, the two that I know of are, one of them is a guy named Jordan Birch, and the other kid is named Alex Huntley, and they call him Boogie Huntley. Jordan was a 5-star kid. he was recruited by all the major schools around the Southeastern Conference. Everybody wanted him. He was a highly regarded kid, and he picked Carolina.
Yeah.
The other kid, Huntley, was a 4-star guy. He was also recruited by most of the schools in the conference and most of the big schools throughout the Southeast, and he also chose Carolina, and they both chose Carolina before Erik got there.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't choose Carolina for Erik, but I think Erik coming in and being part of the staff is gonna help them. It can only help. It can only be a positive thing for Erik Kimrey joining our staff, and those are the two that I know about.
Yeah, so it's always got to be a good feeling knowing that your old head coach and the team that you're on, even though that he might not be coaching their side of the football, is always a good feeling having your old head coach back, basically.
Yeah.
Part of the same team, same kind of morale, probably, because you know what to expect.
He's got good relationships with them, as far as I know. So it's always positive.
Yep, but there was a couple news that a couple of our current players did leave, which sucks, but it's also a part of like what Shane Beamer did say in his kind of introductory interview, you could say, his press conference, of saying that he wants kids that are grateful to play for Carolina, and that he wants kids that want to be there. So, and it's not anything bad on those guys. They got to do what they got to do, and wish them the best of luck, obviously, wherever they go. But we got to build with Shane Beamer, and I'm excited for it. You excited for it?
Yeah, the kids that have left, we've lost a lot of guys in the defensive secondary. It's kind of that position group has kind of been decimated by kids leaving early and kids deciding they no longer wanted to be here, and that's fine. And any coach will tell you that he wants to coach kids that want to be here. If kids don't want to be here, you don't want to make them be here. So, like you said, best of luck to them. And we're going to go out and find kids that want to be here, that have the desire to be Gamecocks.
Yep.
That's what you want.
So are you excited for next year? See what it's all about?
Yeah, I am excited for next year. I don't foresee a lot of success initially for next year, but like I said, some of our position groups have been decimated, so it's tough to build. This has been a rough year for everybody, it's anytime a new coach comes in and you've had the kind of attrition we've had on the defensive side of the football, it's going to be difficult. We were also behind the 8 ball in recruiting this year, so next year could be tough, but
got to start somewhere though.
Yeah, I believe next year will be a great learning year and a great teaching year for everybody, including Coach Beamer, and I'm looking forward to the future. I think I'm looking for good things.
Yep. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, let us know down below in the comments. As I said, there'll be a couple links down in the description. So if you guys want to check those out too, we really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next time.